Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today we have another new release. I'm a little late, I apologize on that. I was moving, I'm in my bedroom, yay! I was moving and I had a lot of stuff going on. I also didn't plan on watching Peter Rabbit 2, but it kind of just happened. It was not on my release date schedule at all, but my sister wanted to see it for her birthday, so I was like, okay, fine, we'll go. And so I watched the first one. Review is on the channel already. I watched the second one. So today we're going to be talking about Peter Rabbit 2. The Runaway. Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, was released in 2021. It was written by Will Gluck and Patrick Burleigh, and directed by Will Gluck. Now, this film is another one of the. It's a sequel. So the first one was Peter Rabbit, and it is a mixed animation film. Okay, so we have some live action elements as well as some animation elements, which is risky in general. And I think that there are issues in this one that there weren't in the first one. No spoilers, but essentially what happens is, they're publishing the book. B is publishing the book for Peter Rabbit now, and it's becoming a huge hit. And so Peter Rabbit's becoming famous, but for the wrong things. Everyone thinks he's a troublemaker. So he decides to go on the run, and he meets up with this guy named Barnabas, and it's not a guy, it's a bunny, of course. And Barnabas is like, hey, I know your dad. Let's go, steal food. And then they do, and then he kind of becomes a bad guy. And really, the whole film is about learning who you are and knowing that sometimes you have to make mistakes to determine who you are, right? And one of the main issues that I have with this film I'm going to talk about right now is that it is very blatantly educational. I mean, it is, really annoying. A lot of movies have that kind of thing where they will be like, this is the moral we're going for. And that's fine. I understand that, it's a child's movie kind of, and it's supposed to be, at least sort of educational on a moral standpoint. But the main issue that I had was it was so blatantly aware of it. It was like, learn this lesson, kids. And, I don't know. I'm not a kid. I'm 20, so it's hard to tell how kids would react to it, but for me it was obviously overbearing and really annoying for me to watch, which I understand because I am 20, so I kind of get it, but I think even for kids it was a little much for a kids movie. I talked in my last video on Luca about how it kind of was able to do it without really pushing it. This movie is overbearingly we're teaching you this. And one thing that I do like about the film, I also don't like. It's kind of complicated. They do this thing where they talk about how bad it would be if something happened, and then they just do it. They're like, oh man, wouldn't it be bad if we made a movie off this franchise that, is really not meant to be a movie, and then we kind of turned it into a movie and made a lot of money? And then they went ahead and they did that, which I think is really funny. And it's self-reflective humor. It's like, we bought tickets to this, and you're saying that we shouldn't, kind of. And it's really funny, but also really not. And I don't know. I like that it was self-aware. I think I did like that. I like that it was able to pick on itself without having to lessen the cinematic experience. But I do think that it could have been fixed by just not mentioning it and making it really, really, really weird. There's also the issue of, and I mentioned this in my first video for Peter Rabbit, which is the issue of the world canon, per se, right? So we have the canon of the film, right? Which is we have animals and, it's normal. But in the film, some people can hear the bunnies talk and all the other animals. And it's weird because they never really mention it. And then when it is mentioned, it's kind of brought to the very front of the film. It's like, oh, this is happening right now. Oh, God, what's going to happen? And then, other times, they will talk and no one will hear them. So to me, it really is annoying to try to figure out whether the animals actually can talk or whether they're just communicating amongst themselves. And, for a kid, it probably doesn't matter. But for me, I'm like, that was just a poor decision in the writing. Why not just choose one and go with it instead of going back and forth on it? And it really is frustrating. The whole movie, I was like, oh, God. Quick note on the animation. I do think that the animation was good. I liked the animals. They look really good. There are a lot of CGI moments that don't involve animals that were really bad. There's one in particular where Thomas is being dragged behind by a wheelbarrow. No, it's a car. It's an actual car. By a car. and he is CGI thrown like bumpy. They're like thrown up and down. And then there's one where he's rolling down a hill and frolicking in the thing that's all CGI. And it looks incredibly bad. And I don't know why. It was really it was impressively bad. Like, I cannot believe that in the same movie we have these really awesome looking, like, almost photoreal bunnies, and we have this really bad looking person frolicking in the grass. And that's a lot of the issue, is that humans are really hard to, fake. And it did not work. I really should not recommend that people ever try to recreate human life in a CGI format. It almost never works. They can get close, but it almost never works entirely, and it did not work here. In terms of the story, I liked the story, I guess. I think it was interesting, it was fun, and kids are going to like it. And I did interpret the fact that kids are going to like it in my review, because, it's a review for the movie, not just my necessary opinion on it. And I think it is going to be fun for kids, and I think that in general the story is fun, but kind of bland. And again, the moral standards of the issue were brought to the forefront way too often to be considered like super entertaining, in my opinion. Talking about a couple of the actors here, starting with Rose Byrne as Bee. I think she was worse than in the first one. She kind of just lost her way a little bit in terms of the acting. I think she got kind of carried away here. Whereas, her character has very much changed in the first film, even though not a whole lot of time has passed. And I do find that rather annoying. I think that, if she had just kind of calmed down a little bit and taken it step by step, it might have been a little bit better, because it felt very forced, and you don't want force in your acting. Here we have Domhnall Gleeson as Thomas. I don't think he was necessarily worse. I think his character is just, less prominent than in the first film. At least his character did develop a lot in this film. And I think that he as an actor is fine in this. I don't think he's extraordinary, but I do think he is just fine. But overall, not a bad movie. I think it's about on par with the other one. I think it might be a little bit worse, but not a whole lot worse. If I had to choose one to watch, again, I would choose the first one for sure. This one's just less entertaining, but still, not a bad movie. And so I'm going to give Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, a B-. If you get a chance to see this, it is in theaters right now. I don't think it is streaming anywhere, but I could be wrong. But I saw it in theaters in Oneonta, so if you're interested in watching that, go ahead and head over there. A little free advertising. But overall, not a bad movie, just not a very good one either. If you guys want to see me dressed like Spider-Man, go to Walmart. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Once I hit 150, I'm going to film that and upload that. So if you guys are interested, make sure you guys are doing that. And liking the video and sharing with your friends, because it's all important. And as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.